So this wasn't planned, but I just got a couple of emails, and I also got a couple of comments that I've now deleted because it seems that there's some non-believers out there that don't believe that I made all that music that I just put on the premiere video for that album that I've made out of noise. It seems that people don't, well, a few people don't believe me. So for anyone else that doesn't believe me, the MPC is essentially a synthesizer. It just uses samples, but it's got all the facilities that you'd find in a synthesizer. And I've shown this in videos before, where you just take waveforms and make very short loops out of them and you get tones. It's as simple as that. We've got all the effects, all the envelopes, filters that you can do, everything. So I'll just take you through each track. First of all, I'll go to the sample editor. That's the only sample that I've got in this entire project. This might be a bit loud. That's it. It's probably not even a second, to be honest. And that was resampled from from Tube Synth. So that is it. The double tap there. That's it. That's the entire project. So if we go to the program editor, this is my first track in the first song. So these are the drums. Okay. Program editor is the kick drum. It's that noise sample. Snare is the noise, just a different start and end point. Hi-hat, they've all got different filter settings. That snare actually loops, but it's programmed into the sequencer as just very short. That's the drums. Okay, let's go up to the second track. I've just called this N. So every track, every song or sequence, should I say? So each one of these is just made in a sequence. So every song is just per sequence. So I've got 7 sequences, and I've used that one sequence technique which I showed in a previous video. And every track is named N1, and it corresponds to the program. So this is N1 organ 1, N1 organ 2, and the programs are changing. You can see N1 synth, bass, noise, and I just followed the same format for every single track and every single sequence. So this organ sound, okay, again, same noise sample, very short loop point, okay, extremely short. So this is how you can get so many tones out of it, because obviously the noise is just chaos, it's random. And in noise, there's pretty much every frequency in the entire spectrum that you can play with, so you can get all manner of different types of let me just turn my mic around. It's a bit, I think it might be a bit quiet, sorry about this. Yeah, sorry if the audio is a bit quiet, I'm just doing this off the cuff. So yeah, again, and I've got a MIDI keyboard, I've got an Arturia key step just over here. Okay, so the effects, I've got an air ensembler. That is brilliant for making string sounds. So if I go up the, well, let's just show it on the pad banks. I mean, it just gives it a completely different tone, really, other than just being, if we switch that off, it's kind of like FM synthesis in a way. It's like those sort of bell tones. Next track, similar kind of sound, but just a bit brighter. So I've got the filter open on that one. Envelope's pretty simple there. I'm sending this sound to my returns, as I am with quite a lot of stuff. So I've got kind of dub style delays going on. I think I'm just using Sen 1, Sen 2 and Sen 3. So if we go to the track mixer, returns, I've got an air diff delay and an air reverb on my first return, air delay on the second, and another air delay. It's my favourite delay, basically. Other than the Akai tape delay, that's a really good one. So that's that sound. N1 synth. So it's got a really long attack time. If you look at the program editor, well, it's not really long, but it's 110. That might be a bit quiet for you guys. Anyway, that's that. And again, it's not on here, but it's on the actual program for this. Where is that? Yeah, M1 Synth. So again, it's their air ensembler. It gives sounds this kind of stereo image and sort of slightly does some a bit kind of detuning and makes it sound more like a string that's got some tremolo on it. Bass. Again, that's really solo that. Let's just jump up here where the bass is actually in. Where is that? There you go. So not the best bass sound in isolation, but when the track's playing. Okay, simple bass sound again. You know, it's change the track. Again, there's our noise sample. It's just got a bandpass filter on it. Short amplitude envelope. I've set the filter envelope, but I'm not actually using it. I think I've just changed stuff there. Very high resonance. And there's a lot of weird stuff going on with the pitching. This is a key group program, so it's at 11 semitone, well, transposed 11 semitones up there for the entire program. But then if you go, oh, actually it's at 0 there. So a lot of these sounds were just, you know, I'm just using my ear to tune it, because obviously you're going to put the, you know, different pitches on depending on the length of the loop. So this is going to screw this up, but you can just hear all the different sounds that you can get out of there. A bit more aggressive now. So I hope this is proving it already to the non-believers out there. N1 noise. What's this? Okay, so that was just an atmospheric noise, which is literally just the noise in its entirety. High pass filter, long attack. That was just to give it some sort of atmospheric sound effect. It was also just to reference the sound that everything is being made of, or from, should I say. And then there's just another synth sound there. Again, it's quite quiet in isolation. So yeah, second track. More drums. Again, it's just exactly the same sample, just referenced many times, and there's only one sample in the entire memory, and it's that long. So I'm not going to go through every single track, but you get the idea. Just very, you know, sort of considered loop points, get the right pitches, get the right filters, get the right envelopes, and you can just create an entire orchestra of sound, or an entire library of your own unique sounds. Like this one's really nice, because it's, again, similar to like FM bell kind of sounds. The higher up you go in the pitch range, you get some quite spooky sci-fi stuff. And that's it. One of the sounds I'm really happy with was this hoover bass sound that I managed to coax out of this. Let me just find it. I think it's track 5 or track 6. Yeah, it's this one. I mean, that is a very accurate kind of traditional 90s drum and bass, hoover bass sound. If there's any junglists out there, you'd know that sound from DJ Tracy's remix of Mutant Jazz by T-Power. And that is, again, all from this one noise sample. So I can show you that. You can just manipulate that to your heart's content. I mean, there's so much scope for sound design using this technique. You know, I've just turned it into a synthesizer, and that's pretty much one of my first videos which put me on the map on YouTube, is showing how you can use these machines as synths. So I'm really proud of this sound. I'm really glad that I managed to get that out, and there's not an awful lot of effects. There's a compressor on it. That's not really going to affect the tone. Let's have a look at the track itself. You can see how many programs I've got in here. I'm using 41 different programs. That program is here. So yeah, it's got a parametric EQ and the air lo-fi on it. Brilliant effect, air lo-fi. So that's it, guys. I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to show you this. I didn't plan on doing this live video, but I got a couple of messages that kind of made me thought, well, I kind of expected this. You're going to get some people that just think, hang on, that's bullshit. You haven't made this with one sample. Well, I have, and here's the proof. I shouldn't have to do this, but I just felt compelled to. I almost thought I might actually send this project, you know, to people. If they want to buy it, they can buy it for me for $20 if they really want the proof, but I'm not going to do that. This is my project. I'm not going to give it away, but this video should be proof enough to show you that this is entirely possible. Just try it for yourselves. You can get some amazing sounds out of this. I mean, there's one track in here that I managed to get a sound. I mean, I've called it piano. Hopefully I can... I mean, it hasn't got the hammer sound, and, you know, it doesn't sound completely acoustic, but it's not far off. As you go higher up, it sounds a bit more like a bell. But that's not too bad for a piano sound that's essentially been acoustically modelled out of 1 second of noise. So, yeah, I hope this video has been informative to some people. There's a couple of comments. Style C, but the bass, how is that even possible? Or hopefully I showed you that with that Hoover bass. There's also, is it this one? There's a sub as well. Let me just find it. So a lot of people complain that the MPC doesn't have a pitch slide, but you can do it with an LFO. So again, this is the same sample. It's very short. The filter is a low pass 6. No resonance at all, didn't need it. Transpositions at -1, that doesn't really matter. Well, it does, but that's it. You know, it's entirely possible. Yeah, the LFO, I'm just using a sawtooth, a downward sawtooth. Pitch is all the way up at 127, so it's just making it descend. So in isolation again, let's just jump to where that happens. That'll do. I mean, it sounds a bit rubbish now because I've changed the pitch of it, but you get the idea. So yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. Styles C. Lo-fi, so you don't set the loop points to match a specific pitch. Well, I mean, I'm glad you've asked that question. I'm not musically trained. I've had the luxury of not being confined to any, you know, textbooks or anything. Some people might see that as a negative or something that I've lacked in my upbringing, and I did think of it at one point. I would love to have had proper music lessons, but because I didn't, I just had to do everything by ear, and I prefer that because it frees me up to just accept every possible sound. And, you know, a lot of jazz incorporate. I mean, you just listen to Thelonious Monk. A lot of his stuff was completely wonky, but it sounds completely correct in the most beautifully incorrect way. And I'm sure he had formal training. Maybe he didn't, but some people out there just have an ear for things. And you know, I've kind of been forced. It's forced me to kind of, you know, be musical without any training. So you just set those loop points, and then you just get the tuning. You just do it. And if you haven't got an ear for it, then yeah, you're probably going to struggle if you're just basing your musicality on what you've read or what you've been taught. So I actually feel like that's a blessing for me. I don't feel like it's something that I've lacked, although, like I said, I would have loved to have had some classical or formal training. You know, I do know stuff about music now just from dealing with it, but I've never had any training to know this stuff. I've just played for hours and hours and hours and just, you know, overcome tons of technical problems, because I've said this many times, I won't let a machine or an instrument dictate to me what I want to do. You know, I've paid the money for it, so you're my bitch. So yeah, I mean, it's just about, you can, you know, to get back to your original question, Lo-Fine, I've set those loop points to get a texture and a tone, and once I get that, then I can muck about with the tuning and octaves and whatever, and if I need to retune it again, then I'll reset the loop, as long as the texture doesn't get too affected. More of a sorry, Styles, I'm so happy you're using the MPC one. Yeah, no problem, so am I. I mean, after I had my MPC X stolen, I'm happy to say that now, because the company that was supposed to deliver it to, that had supposed to have delivered it to Akai for a repair, they've just been unashamedly like, well, it's just gone now. You know, you can't do anything about it. So I'm really glad that I chose the MPC one as the replacement. It's a really nice form factor. It does everything I need it to. It's a little bit frustrating in terms of connectivity. When you connect it to the computer, for some reason the SD card doesn't mount, which I find bizarre. So I have to take the SD card out and put that in the Mac to be able to manage it and transfer projects that I've got. It's a bit weird, but other than that, I love it. It's got CV ports. You know, the first MPC Live didn't have that. And it's also got this smoother texture, which I know it's a minor thing, but I much prefer this to that rubbery material used on the MPC Live. Saying that, I think the MPC Live 2 probably would have been a better choice for me because of the connectivity, excuse me, and the auxiliary outputs, but I don't really use those. I mean, again, they're limitations which force me just to crack on, and they don't distract me. And that was another reason for doing this project, is to have, you know, limitations to, you know, I didn't really need to do that. I wasn't in a creative block or anything, but whether you're in one or not, making extreme limitations like this, like saying, right, I'm just going to use one sound and just get as much as I possibly can out of it. I mean, it made this happen in a matter of 5 or 6 days, maybe 4 days, and I'm really pleased I did that. And you can do that. You know, you can do this, or you can do another restriction. Maybe force yourself to just use one hand, or put a blindfold on. No, I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, there's lots of things you can do to sort of, you know, set yourself a limitation and then say, right, I'm going to do this. Right, let me see. Dang, which courier? I'm not going to say, because I've actually taken them to court, and I don't really want to get into any sort of silliness with that, Zach. But yeah, they're a British-based company, and they do it to a lot of people. I mean, it's basically the fact that they've taken your goods, they sell you a service, and it's like going to a restaurant, and if you don't order the top steak and just a cheap burger, does that give the chef a right to spit in your food? Well, it's essentially the same thing. They've said, well, you didn't pay for the premium service, so we're not going to look after your goods, and if it gets stolen or lost, then you just have to take it on the chin. That's essentially what they're saying. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. That's nonsense. But thank you, you know, for your interest, Zach. But yeah, let's move on. Let me see. Let me guess GLS. So I'm not talking about it anymore. No, not to the US, to the UK. Right. No more questions about my MPCX. It's gone. And I don't want to dwell on it anymore. But I just thought I'd mention that. But thanks for your concern, chaps. I'm not being dismissive. I just don't want to spend any more time thinking about it. It does my head in. I wish the MPC had more instruments plugins. Why? I thought I'd just shown a video showing exactly why you don't need. I mean, you know, you don't. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice, but again, you get lost in like dicking about with them, and you know, I think having less. Like, sorry to be you know, to use a cliche, but less is definitely more. Hopefully this has proved that, but I get what you mean. I mean, you know, there's a few things that would be nice, but you know, I'm not missing anything really. Henri, good lad, best thing you can do. Oh, arse biscuits and wine. What a brilliant name. Perhaps do that because they think no one's going to stand it. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but there you go. Thank you, Zach. Arspis is great, that name. I really resonate with what you're saying about limitations. Ableton, yeah. I mean, I recommend it. Everyone, like, set yourself some nonsense limitation, like really, really ridiculous. You know, I thought this was ridiculous, and now I'm looking back on it. You know, I could probably go even more ridiculous, but I'm not going to because I've got other things that I need to do. But yeah, I really recommend you set a similar limitation to this because it works. It's a cliche thing that people say, limitations breed creativity, and it certainly does. You're welcome, Arse Biscuits and Wine, and thank you for coming onto my channel. Thank you for being on the comments with such a brilliant name. That's cheered me up. Not that I needed cheering up, but it's added to my already amazing mood. Yeah, cool. So that's it, guys. Completely impromptu live video, just as a bit of a what do they call it? Supplementary video to the one that I've just put up. Just to prove, you know, I shouldn't need to, but there was a few non-believers and skeptics out there. But it's, you know, it's a testament to this machine, you know. And if I'm going to pat my own back, it is a bit of a testament to my skills as a sound designer. But it's something I've been doing for years, but I've never really shown it. And I think this entire channel and everything that I put on this channel has been built up over years, and I never really had a platform for doing it. So however much YouTube pisses me off on occasion, I thank you, YouTube, for giving me the opportunity to show this stuff to people, because it needs to be shown. But thank you, guys. Any more questions? I'll give you one more minute and then I'm going to skip off to bed. Thank you, Zach. And please do head over to Bandcamp, guys. Bandcamp.com/TubeDigger if you want to grab the album. It's not $7. I said it was $7. It's actually £7. So that's probably about $10 at the time. Well, maybe not US dollars. Maybe it's even more. I'm not too sure what the conversion is at the moment. Henri, I might find an interesting way to overcome the minimum. Well, there's plenty of ways you can do that, Henri. Thanks for this, dude. Yeah, no worries. I can't say the name without laughing. It's brilliant. Arse Biscuits. Yeah, your name was brilliant to hear. Jason, your business name or just your alias? Yeah, Tube Diggers. Yeah, I mean, it's my business now. I mean, I teach privately and I'm getting tons of, you know, I'm sort of inundated with new clients wanting me to teach them. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of my business now, I suppose. But yeah, it's not my real name. Yeah, but it's I've got another artist name, which is Type, which I make jungle and drum and bass under, and that's picking up a bit of speed or steam now. If you want to head over to Bandcamp and check out different music, so it's different without an E at the end, or towards the end. I've got a piece of vinyl coming out at the end of this month, Cola Cube and Vibration. So that's on different music. If you check me out on Instagram, you can see links to that and the label that's on. How exactly are you saving your sounds once you're finished? Well, I mean, this is just saved in the project. It's just obviously it's just one noise sample, but everything gets saved in the project, all the programs get saved. So anytime I boot this up, it just, just rebuilds everything, if that's what you mean. And just to touch on that, the only problems I had with this project literally was maybe it'll do it now, but if I go into sample edit, I think it's probably just the sheer amount of references and the sheer amount of plugins that I'm using, but there's a slight lag and a click when you go into sample edit, which wasn't there before, maybe a few songs back when I had less stuff going on. Let me reload the project. And another problem I encountered was I'd have to load it in twice for this sound engine to initialize. So there was some little issue there. Obviously, Akai can't do every single scenario with their beta testers, and they can't cover every single possible bug that might be in there. And obviously with this project, there's no way anyone could troubleshoot a project this extensive with the amount of plugins, parameters. You got to think of all that stuff combined. It's a hard task for any company or programmer within that company to fully, cover everything. But if I load it in now, it should be fine. But yeah, I was encountering a problem where I was loading it in, press play, and no sound would come out. And I thought, oh my God, have I lost the entire project after all that work? So I just thought, no, maybe it's just the sound engine thing. And the MPC 5000 used to do this to me. It would cut out if I was using too many plugins. So it should be fine now. Oh no, there you go. It's done exactly what I thought it might. So let's load it again. And there's you might have heard that little click. Now it's initialized. Okay, so what was I going to say? I've forgotten what I was saying. I've gone off on a tangent. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. I can't rewind the video, obviously, because it's recording. Let me look at the comments. Saving sounds, was it that? I can't remember what I was talking about. I was just drivelling on. I was talking about the only issues that I've had with this project is loading it in, like you just saw. The sound engine wasn't booting up properly. And oh yeah, it was the sample editor. So let's see if it does it now. If I go to the sample editor whilst the track is playing, it clicks. No, it's fine. It's fine. Maybe it's just a inconsistent bug. Oh, there's my voice in the sample editor. In the sampler, should I say. Right. Let's see. Will you continue to creating more tracks in this project? I was going to do 10 tracks, and I think someone called Darren put a comment about it's an EP, and I looked at that and I thought, is that a negative comment, or is he just saying, oh, it's an EP, it's not really an album? I mean, I'm not really fussed, but I did think maybe someone might say, well, it's not a full album, it's only about 33 minutes or something. Well, it's by the by. I could have done 10 tracks, but I just got to a point where I was like, I want to get it out the door now. I've got a video to make, I've got to sort of like communicate how I've put it together somehow. So yeah, I don't think so. I don't want to spoil it. It's done now and it's uploaded to Bandcamp. I think I'm just going to start something again with a different limitation, maybe the same limitation, but just a different sample. I don't really want to sort of, obviously it's a great technique that's got a lot of mileage, but at the same time, I don't want to overdo it. And, I think this entire project has got its own sound. That's what I really like about it. It's kind of, that's something that's come out of it. It all sounds consistent to me, the tracks, to a point, at least. Maybe not, obviously they're in different genres. There's a few kind of, maybe sort of just EDM, electronica, experimental things in there, and obviously 3 or 4 drum and bass tracks. But I think the overall sound sounds relatively consistent because it's all come from the same place, that one sample. So that definitely helps you to form an actual theme and or a sonic theme. Hopefully I've Chad Thatcher, I'm thinking the best thing for me to learn my MPC1 is to do 10-minute challenges. Try it. Yeah, I mean, learning the MPC, don't get hung up on creating a project. Start a project, that is throwaway. It doesn't matter if you make something great in it and then screw it all up. Don't get attached to it. That's the best way to learn. You know, just use the projects as experiments, and then it doesn't matter whether you save them or not. It might be a good idea to save them and go back and see what you've done and take things from one project and put them in another. But yeah, just play. That's all you got to do, is just love it enough to play with it enough. That sounds a bit suspect, doesn't it? You've got to love it enough to play with it enough. I'm sure most men watching this will know what I'm talking about. Let's have a look. I didn't have to go down that route, did it? I think it's Arse Biscuit's name has made me think about sort of naughty things now. Silly rudeness. What you were talking about, your Bandcamp page. Yeah, my Bandcamp is just Tube Digger, but on there is my type stuff, which is my pseudonym for my jungle stuff. I had to have them separate just because Tube Digger's more thought of as education and more of my business, whereas type is more of my sort of, you know, nighttime junglist activities, which are a bit off the radar. You know, you've got to have a bit of an edge if you're a junglist. But Tube Digger's supposed to be a bit more professional, I suppose. What's it called, Zach? Yeah, well, it's just Tube Digger on Bandcamp, and the album is called, it's called It's Just Noise. So if you just go to my Bandcamp, the album's called It's Just Noise. It's the most recent thing up there in the link, if that's what you're referring to, Zach. Akai need to get a glide setting. Yeah, I mean, it'd be handy, but as you can see, I've used the LFO. It's fine. You love it in a... hello. Hello, sir. Nice to see you on here, old bean. We should speak. You should come round soon, Mr. Technomatic. Gotcha, thanks. No worries, Zach. Anyway, I'm going to shoot off. That means go in normal, unrude language. Any more questions, guys? I'll give you 30 seconds more. That means you will ask more questions, and I'm going to be on it for another 10 minutes, probably. But yeah, I'm going to stop the video in a minute because I want to go to bed. Countdown. MPC Dreams. Peace out. No worries, Zach. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for watching the other video. Hope this has shown you what you can do with an MPC and one noise sample. Okay, Mr. Matic. Please do. You're welcome, Style C, and everyone else. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you on the next one. This is Tube Digger, and I am off ski. Laters.